Hey folks, it's Ashley here. So I just wanted to do a quick video to expose this individual, Louis Namier, okay, a Polish Jew, who I find very interesting, very corrupt, and I see a lot of what he did at the time in Poland. I see a lot of that today being carried out by the Israeli Jews in power in Palestine/Israel. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean. Alright, so I'm not going to read you everything about him, okay? Let's be clear, I don't need to read it all. You can read this all on your own time if you want. I'm just going to read you the important parts, okay? Where it gets into his professional career, okay? Oh, and I should also note, okay, so just to give you a little bit of a background on what he was involved in, he held positions with the propaganda department, folks. And the Department of Information. Jews seem to love those departments, don't they? Of course they do. They like to control the information coming in and going out. Particularly that's going out to the masses, you know. Now, listen here, okay? This is where it gets very interesting. Professional career. Following the defeat of Germany in World War I, Namier, age 31, joined the British delegation of the Versailles Peace Conference of 1919. Based on his personal background, Namier maintained a firm personal interest in Russian affairs. However, he was also seen as one of the biggest enemies of the newly independent Polish state in the British political environment. Just like the Jews in Israel are against Palestine. They deny the Palestinian people's their right to exist. They deny them as a people. They say that they're fake. They say that there's no such thing as a Palestinian and that it never existed. I can guarantee you that if I dug hard enough, I would find this similar shit being written about the Polish people at the time. Palestinians are modern day Polish people, okay? I see a lot of parallels. Let's continue. During the Polish-Soviet War, his relationship with the Polish delegation was highly antagonistic, and his attitude towards Poland and Polish territory is openly hostile. Of course it was, because the Jews were occupying it heavily. Do you know how many shtetls they had established? Shtetls are settlements, folks. Let's be clear. Namier was later accused, this is where it gets interesting, folks, let me say it again. Namier was later accused of changing the British proposal, the Curzon line, which is this, folks. I'm not going to go too far into it. I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory just by looking at it, okay? It's basically similar to what we saw, with the, at least from my understanding, what we saw with the, the division of Palestinian land versus the Israeli land. We know how the Jews kept their end of the bargain, by stealing everything that, that was given to the Palestinians. Okay, so keep that in mind when I read you this. This Jew was accused of changing the British proposal, folks, okay, for the eastern border of Poland by leaving the city of Lviv, which was a Jewish settlement, folks. Lviv was a Jewish shtetl. And the oil basin on the eastern side when the British Foreign Intelligence sent a cable to the Commissar for Foreign Affairs of Bolshevik Russia. The Polish delegation had no knowledge of the existence of a Line A whatsoever, since the idea of handing Lviv over to the Bolsheviks was rejected by Prime Minister Władysław Grabski at the very beginning of talks. Lwow, there's different ways of saying it, folks. There's different ways that you'll see what I mean, had never been under the Moscow rule in its history. Professor Peter Eberhardt from the Polish Academy of Sciences speculates that Lord George could have been aware of Namier's modification. Rusin refutes the claim that Namier was responsible and calls him merely a convenient supplier of anti-Polish arguments. Yeah, the Jews are good at that, right? The earlier approved compromised version of Curzon line, which was approved at the Spa conference in Belgium, was renamed by Namier as Curzon line B. Chicherin relayed this document to Lenin, who rejected it nevertheless, assured of his victory over Poland, followed by a planned annexation of its entire territory. Just like the Jews planned annexation of the entire Middle East, particularly Greater Israel. You know what I'm talking about? Same shit. Same shit. Now it gets even more interesting, folks. It gets even more fucking interesting. Let me read on. In one of his memoranda, Namier falsified the results of a national census from Eastern Galicia, originating from Austria-Hungary. He single-handedly, folks, listen to this. He single-handedly reduced the number of ethnic Poles living in the region from 2 million down to 600 to 700 inhabitants. You know what that reminds me of, folks? Do you really want to know? Reminds me of this shit. When the fucking Jews, when they wanted to steal Palestine, said there was a land without a people, they played down, they made it seem like there was no one there, so they would have more support in stealing it. Does that make sense? The less people there, the less they need to do away with, so to speak. So it sounds better to downplay it. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? Let me just read you what they said here. So this is a widely cited phrase associated with the movement to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine during the 19th and 20th centuries. A land without a people for a people without a land. But Palestine was filled with people. Of course it was. And it reminds me so much of what this piece of garbage was doing here. By playing down the number of Polish people that were actually in the area. Because by doing so, then it's easier to garner support to occupy the land. And that's exactly what they were doing, folks. I have more proof of it. Yes. And notice how they say ethnic Poles, because that is crucial. It's a native people. And also, something worth noting is by underestimating, so to speak, the number of individuals present in the land, it's easier to kill them too, because nobody's going to be looking for that large number. That, you know what I mean? Am I making sense? It's dangerous what this piece of shit did here. So, it states further that Anne Cienciala believes that Namier was not the original initiator of this misrepresentation. Oh, fuck you. But merely an unscrumptious supplier of handy arguments for the anti-Polish lobby among the Entente members. Shut the fuck up. After leaving government service, Namier taught in Balliol from 1920 to 1921 before going into business for himself. Later, Namier was a long-time Zionist. Of course he was. Yeah, of course he was. Worked as political secretary for this Jewish agency in Palestine from 1929 to 1931. Of course he was a close friend to the fucking Zionist piece of shit, Chaim Weizmann. And then, of course, Weizmann later severed relations with Namier when the later converted to... Yeah, they always convert too, and then they blame it on... They say they were forced to do it. You know, they had nothing to do with it. They weren't trying to cover anything up. No. We made them do it. It's always somebody else's fault with the Jew. It's never their fault. They absolutely take zero responsibility for any of their crimes. It's insane. It's like, they're like little kids, but not good ones. You know what I'm saying? But it goes on to further state that Namier remained active in various Zionist groups, in particular lobbying the British government to allow the creation of what he called a fucking Jewish fighting force. Why would he need that, folks? Why do you think he wanted that? The same reason you got the Irgun, the Lehi, all the other fucking terrorist fucking Jewish Israeli fucking terrorist entities to do what they do to the Palestinians. They kill them. And that's why they were lobbying for this. And that's why this guy, this Namier piece of shit, was anti-Polish, and he was going out of his way to to tilt it to his favor, to the Jewish favor, as they always do. So controversies. I mean, I thought we already talked about the controversies. Is there more? Let's see. Namier used sources such as wills and tax records to reveal the interests of the MPs. In his time, his methods were new and quite controversial. His obsession with collecting facts such as club membership of various MPs and then attempting to correlate them with voting patterns led his critics to accuse him of taking ideas out of history. It's kind of a weird accusation. Namier, an elite theorist, was well known for his dislike of ideas and people who believed in them, and made little secret of his belief that his best political system was that of a grasping and self-interested ruling elite. I feel like there's more being said here, but they're trying to, like, whitewash it. You know what I'm saying? I'll have to read that on my own time. Of course he was a former patient of Sigmund and the fucking pedo Freud. Of course he was. Namier was a believer in psychohistory? What the fuck is that? Is a study of psychological motivations of historical events. Of course, yeah. Because we know the Jews love to manipulate history. It's very interesting.